Uh, Today's topic is happiness. Uh, okay. If you ask anybody, what do you want out of life? Everyone's answer will be happiness, right? Or at least on the top list, happiness will be there. Because if you have happiness, then it means you have the other things as well, right? All the religions talk about happiness. For example, Hinduism talks about happiness, Ananda or pure bliss. Islam talks about falah, happiness and well-being. Christianity talks about kingdom of heaven within. Buddhism talks about causeless joy. Still, are we happy? Not really, right? So, research has been going on for several years, and I came across an interesting research which was happening for more than 25 years, and they have come out with some points uh, to be more happy or to be happier, right? So I'd like to share those things with you because all these findings, all these steps they tell were free. So I thought, why shouldn't we give it a try? Okay, happiness. Actually, it's a cycle, right? It's like a cycle. If you feel happy, uh, it makes relationships better. If relationships are getting better, then you'll feel happy. You make more money, you'll be happy. If you are happy, it gives you the strength and opportunity, and you'll make more money. Like everything, it's a two-way process. Happiness makes you do better at your job. It brings more people to you at your job. It makes you function better. It lets you be more productive. It lets you be more healthier. It makes you live longer like that. The same way, these things will make you more happy. It's a cycle. It's a continuous. It's like a regeneration, right? Okay. I'll give you some of the points which the from the outcome of those research. Okay, the research says try not to adapt to do what you are doing. So if you are doing something on a regular basis, try to make some difference in it consciously. Say, for example, if you go for a walk daily, it says to take you a different route. The quantum of change may differ for person to person if you do this, but the change is what it matters. Then it also says try to do things which you are at best, what you enjoy, and that too in a novel way. This increases your happiness. Sorry? Then the activity which you do for this should be coming from within. It should not be for money or status or any external factors shouldn't influence this activity. I'm talking about such an activity. Say, for example, Julie used to share pictures on Insta with a new saree daily. It gives her happiness. She gives motivation lectures at educational institutions. It gives her happiness. I used to go for a long trip once in 6 months. I choose a place where I can trek a lot. It gives me happiness like that. By doing such activities which are novel and which we are good at, it makes us forget our problems. At times, it makes us forget ourselves. That's what everyone wants, right? It can happen anywhere, at workplace, at home, at a department store, anywhere. So the first thing is do things which you like from inside and which you excel at in a novel way. This is the first point. Let's see about 6 points which the research suggests. Then most of the causes or source of happiness that we think about is simply not true. We overestimate how much impact will both good and bad have on us. We think joy will last forever and for a prolonged period of time, but the joy quickly disappears. So, for example, if we won a match, if we win a match, we'll feel like we are on the top of the world. And that feeling is going to be there forever. But it's not so. It's the same case when we encounter with a difficult situation. We think that when bad things happen, we are lost, and it's we are not going to come back, something like that. But no, we'll come back shortly, right? So, for example, if we if one loses a lover or loses a job, is it the end of the life? No, not at all. They'll definitely come up. So don't be dragged by adversaries. Bounce back quickly. The pace at which you bounce back adds your adds to your happiness. That's point number 2. Third, uh, if you ask anyone what gives you happiness, on the top of the chart, it will definitely money will be there, right? Uh, yeah, that's true to an extent. But the proportion is not right. Say, for example, the research says the global economy has grown multiple folds during the past couple of decades. But it questions have our happiness grown at the same proportion? It's a definite no, right? So they're not uh, equally proportionate. So if you give 1 unit of money, you will give 1 unit of happiness. If you give 10 units of money, you won't get 10 units of happiness. That's what it's trying to say. So unless the basic needs, until the basic needs are fulfilled, money, yes, money is really a factor of happiness. After that, it's not going to help a lot. Any one of you remember the joy you had when you got your first bicycle? I bought a bicycle. My father bought me a bicycle when I was in 6th standard. I still remember that and the feeling which I had on those days. Even after getting a car, I don't get such a joy. That's what it tries to say. So definitely money will make us happy, but only to an extent. That's point number 3. This is the most important thing. Study on happier people reveals that without exception, they had a close, supported family and friends. So it doesn't mean that they loved everybody. You should love everybody and everybody should love you. Nothing like that. You should have a closed circle of you should love them or they should love you. You should be a well-wisher of someone or they should be a well-wishers of you. That sort of arrangement. If you are having a circle like that, you'll be a happier person. That's what it's trying to say. Be with people you like or people who you like. That's point number 4. And most of us know that there are 2 types of goals for people in life: intrinsic goals and extrinsic goals. Say, for example, intrinsic goals, personal growth, relationship, desire to help, such sort of things. Extrinsic goals are materialistic goals like money, image, status, and all. The study says people who have intrinsic goals tend to be happier than the ones who has extrinsic goals. So point number 4 is have intrinsic goals instead of extrinsic goals. Okay. Actually, there is an index called happiness index for nations worldwide. Finland is number 1, Denmark is number 2, and the list goes on. So Denmark consistently ranks on top of the happiness index. Denmark is known for its social standards and high quality of living. If you analyze why they are happier than consistently than other countries, the finding says Denmark has more of its population living in a co-housing community. Co-housing community, don't relate it with the flats or communities we live in. Actually, we live in the same place, but we don't coexist. That's what I'm trying to say. In Denmark, many families live in a place. They share the place, they share the work, they share almost everything. Say, for example, one family needs to cook meals for just 3 times in a week. Likewise, they'll share everything, and the elders take care of the kids of even the other families of the community. Such sort of things. That's many of the families in Denmark live in such communities, such co-housing communities. Because of this, certain choices and benefits are shared by the community. They share their household chores like cooking, as I said. So the fifth point is think this sort of co-living makes you think of what you have and what others don't have, which you have, so that you can offer others. That feeling of you have something which others doesn't, and you are able to help. That feeling makes you feel better. So think of what you have rather than what you don't have. If we think of things what we don't have, will happiness come? No, it won't. But if you think of what we have and what others don't have, definitely we'll be feeling better, right? And another country, Bhutan. Bhutan is a small country. It's our neighboring country. Actually, they came with an idea of GNH, gross national happiness. We all know about the GDP, right? Gross domestic product. At one point of time, they felt that for economic development, in the name of economic development, they have lost their environment, culture, social systems, and even humanity. So they thought of that's not the right way to develop the nation. The nation should develop not only in the economic factors, it should also, the community as a whole should develop, and the happiness should be increased among the citizens. So they proposed the idea of happiness index to the United Nations. So for economic development, they could have depleted the forest and could have created hydroelectricity power and sold them and could have made money. But leaders of Bhutan didn't think so. They thought they're thinking that 60% of Bhutan's landscape should be forest forever. See how great leaders Bhutan has. I don't say India doesn't have. I'll be happy if India has that, such leaders. And any guess on India's rank on GNH, Happiness Index?
It should be somewhere in the middle, sir.
No,
Okay.
it will be in the last.
We are 144 on happiness index. 144 on happiness. Isn't it an irony? You know 144, right? Kannan, இருக்கீங்களா?
இருக்கு சார்.
Okay, okay.
கூகுள் பாத்துறேன் சார், அதுக்குள்ள சொல்லிட்டாங்க.
Okay, okay. So these are the 6 things, 6 simple things which come free, which will make you happier than how you are now. I'll repeat the 6 things. Do things which you like from inside and which you excel at in a novel way. That's the first one. Don't get dragged by adversaries. Bounce back quickly. That's the second one. The third one is be with people you like or people who you like. The fourth one is have intrinsic goals instead of extrinsic goals. The fifth one is think of what you have rather than what you don't have. The sixth one is commit acts of kindness on a regular basis. So, okay. I'd like to conclude the session with Benjamin Franklin's quote. The Constitution only guarantees the people the right to pursue happiness. You have to catch it to yourself. That's all. Thank you.